Join the Power Trips Meat Sauce this Saturday for the grand opening of Planet Fitness's new location in Edina. Stop by from 9:30 to 11:30 to check out the new location and to register for great prizes, including a free 1-year Black Card membership and KFAN swag. Get the full details now at KFAN.com /calendar.
What's going on, Ryan Carter?
Hey, PA. How you doing,
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, you too.
Alex, thanks for arranging for Ryan to come out. I'm going to start here because then I want to talk about a bunch of goofy things, and I just know you guys being as good of friends as you are. The conversation is going to involve beehives and outdoor skating and things like that, and it's going to be fantastic. But without naming right in front of us 5 minutes ago, without naming the player or the coach, okay? There was a conversation here at Tria Rink where clearly a coach was talking to a player about why he's not playing tonight. Have you ever had,
I've had those.
Okay, I know. Actually, 3-2.
Actually, I don't know if I really had the conversations. I've been told I'm not playing.
Right.
Less of a conversation.
But it was a back and forth with some hand gestures and kind of like a why and... so of course you've had those. What are those conversations like if you ever had one?
Yeah, that's interesting. There's a lot of dynamics to it too, depending on if it's the head coach or the assistant coach. Because sometimes assistant coaches, that's kind of their role, is to be the conduit between those tough decisions, how the player feels, and how they respond. But I think sometimes it's tough love. When it gets to that spot where you have hand gestures, that's not the first conversation that has taken place when it comes to the individual, their efforts, or their performance. If it gets to that spot, you've been told 3, 4, 5 times, it hasn't improved, this is the next step.
Right. So do players generally know they are not playing, that there'll be healthy scratches before the skate, like when they get here? Okay, so they generally know.
Yes.
Yeah, well, this looked like it caught somebody off guard a little bit, but maybe just talking about, technique and nuance and, things that you need to do to just coach speak,
I think more often than not you'll have the lineup on the board, and sometimes you won't have the lineup on the board because the coach doesn't want to disrespect the individual the morning of. So we might have the conversation with them before they walk in and then get hot and bothered by the fact that they're scratched. So that stuff does occur.
Hey, Zacho, you being from White Bear Lake and Ryan being New Jersey Devils and White Bear Lake Immortality, do you remember, I don't know what your age difference is here, but was he, inspirational to you to like hockey?
So he, of course, won a cup with the Anaheim Ducks back in 2007.
Yeah, wow, good
which
memory.
would have put me at 12 years old.
Damn.
And I was about 12 and a half when I was out at the White Bear Lake Sports Center ice when I think they had fog machines from the...
it was high-tech.
It was really well done. Well done on the presentation. They had... Ryan emerged from the Zamboni garage with the cup. He walked out on the ice. The kids were following him around, including myself. It was an incredible display, and to have the Stanley Cup come to your hometown. I know a lot of people across the state of Minnesota have had this opportunity. lucky enough to have it in 07. Thanks to you, Mr. Carter. And then, we got to take a picture with it as well.
Yeah, I think we auctioned off having cereal out of the Stanley Cup because that's what they do. But unfortunately, Mr. Brian Halverson didn't win the auction. Otherwise, you could have had your Captain Crunch or Fruity Pebbles, I don't know, your cereal of choice from the Stanley Cup like the champions. No, I'm kidding. But no, that was a fun day. Bringing it back home, sharing it with as many people. I'd won it my rookie year, so I didn't really know what to do. I didn't plan for it. It all happened really fast. But in hindsight, I'm glad I got to share it with the people that brought the game to me.
And you obviously got to go down to Mankato, I believe, as well with it. Celebrate with your Mavericks as well, and just great. Do you think about it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that your name is etched into the Stanley Cup?
No, I don't think about it that much. But when I do think about it, it's like you get hungry because you're like, man, you know what? That was fun, and I'd like another one, but it just doesn't always things don't always line up that way, as you can tell. It would have been nice to have another, but. No.
Speaking of etched, Zach. Oh my gosh, we got a whole. It's been a holy morning for Paulie. He just went to fill up his coffee, and as he was walking over here, it was pouring out of the bottom. Maybe it got hit by your back when you.
Hey, we got to talk about this.
Right, yeah, here's the deal. All right,
all right, 3-2.
And my zipper's down, which is always really comfortable, and I have a map of Key West on the front of my pants. Both of you will be 58 one day. Okay, so here's what happened. Is I wasn't paying attention. A former teammate of Alex's, Reese Johnson.
You're correct, yes.
Yeah. Flick some snow up here. I turn. I think it's a puck. Okay, so I try to stand up. I step on the headphone cord. Headphone comes off. Chair falls. Announcer on floor. And not even trying to do it for social media. During the time, my coffee cup, which I was holding, clearly part of the bottom broke. So I'm trying to make coffee over here, and I keep looking at it, and it won't fill up. And all of a sudden, there's a lot of coffee on this Formica table. I'm like, what the hell's happening here? So I pick it up, part of the bottom, when I fell, it got perforated.
That's what you were doing over there when I walked up. Your carts was over by the cups.
Yeah, and he's like, "Why is it so wet?"
Oh my!
Because the coffee. I know it's ridiculous. We need
that,
dude. Based on the hand gestures, I'm wondering if we didn't misinterpret what occurred on the ice. Maybe one of the players cut the coffee cup of the coach, and that's what they were talking about.
That might have been the case. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to pause, and when we come back, more with Alex Daylock and Ryan Carter. Zach Hussier, and I'm Paul Allen. We are at Trier Rink for Vox in the Box, Wild Morning Skate, coming to a conclusion on KFAN.
The Feast heads to Buffalo Wild Wings Roseville tomorrow. Join us as PA and Charge get you set up for the Vikings to take on the Bears in a winter whiteout showdown on Monday night. Make sure to ask our street team how you could win a Vikings winter whiteout helmet of your own. Doors are at 8 a.m. Get full details at KFAN.com keyword calendar.
At the Trier Rink is a sleuth. He has discovered it was not Reese Johnson who caused chairs to break, announcers to fall, coffee to spill, cups to become perforated, and puddles of coffee to be had in Bill Guerin's private suite, the observation deck. What have you uncovered, Zachary?
It was Ryan Hartman who gathered the snow on his blade, threw it up here, and then dove down, literally Superman underneath the boards in order to avoid detection. Unbelievable.
There's video everywhere nowadays.
So was it to avoid detection, or was he concerned his former teammate Alex Stalock was going to throw something at him?
That's probably what it is.
The funny thing about this is when I was playing for the Wild, we had a practice up here, and at the time the coach was Bruce Boudreau. And in a rush drill, a 3-on-2 rush drill, Bruce went to turn, and he was at the red line. He went to turn and lost an edge, and he went down hard. And we had, 23 players around John Worley's computer in the training room trying to find the video of Bruce going down on the ice, and that got replayed like 15 times.
Ryan Carter with us, and nice enough to come out too, by the way. Tria Rink not calling the game on TV tonight. Just your overall thoughts on the Wild this season, specifically like that Utah game is so fascinating to me because of the football team. I haven't been able to watch as much as I like to watch, but I caught that one the full game. And from the arena to the oohs and the ahs of little wristers, like the crowd was just so infatuated with every little thing that happened. It was impressionable and beautiful, exciting finish, but battling through injury. So just the totality of the season with all these points and everything. What do you think?
Yeah, a lot to unpack there, but I think that they've surprised most everybody except for the people in that locker room. I think you could count on a bounce-back season from a couple of guys and the team being better than they were last year. I think it's what this year clearly illustrates is that last year they underachieved, and they kind of said that, they felt that. Now this year, I think everybody to a man has been better. They've gotten good goaltending. They've found a way to win. They've developed and rekindled, I think, a moxie that they had a couple of years ago. It's shown up in games, and in games like the Utah game where you're down late, you find a goal, you end up winning it. They're just finding ways, which is a cliche way of saying that they're winners, and that's what winners do. They find a way to get the upper hand when it's all said and done. This club is doing that right now. Some days it's goaltending, a lot of days it's Kaprizov. Some days it's the defense, but really, I think what they've shown is that there isn't a weakness at any level of their game. Now, penalty kill has struggled. I think that is fighting some demons and some history. They haven't been able to solve that, but it's just been good. In a good year, good bounce back, and it's a good team to watch right now.
Executive Chef Kyle, how are you?
Good, awesome. Good to see you.
What'd you bring? It looks like something cheesy.
Yeah, so this is a thing that's kind of a signature thing at the XL Energy Center right now. It's a crispy potato corn dog.
Ooh.
So it's got like a French fry crust. There's a cool Minnesota Wild hockey stick skewer in there. And right now, if you buy one at stand 117, you get a little trading card that my face is on.
Wow. Oh, geez. Does it have your bio and or criminal record on the back?
No stats, just a great picture.
No stats?
And an incredible hot dog.
Okay, now these hot dogs, 117 this evening against the Edmonton Oilers?
Yeah, absolutely, and every game. It's something we do the whole season, but
sweet.
It's really good. I want everybody to try them, and you guys too.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see everybody.
Yep, Merry Christmas.
Thanks.
That's you guys know that's part of the perk, man. Is with Vox in the Box, you get a little food out of it.
Yeah, you strap in the feed bag. I'll talk about Utah. I think it's great for the game to see that there are other marketplaces that maybe aren't non-traditional hockey markets that can get a team. And they can get a fan base, educate a fan base, fill an arena, and grow the game. And that's kind of what's exciting about that. And I think ownership there has done a terrific job.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. And
same guy owns the Jazz. And is it the Yeti yet, or is it going to be the Yeti?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to Utah Yeti, I think, is the name.
The name of the team.
Correct. That's what I think it's going to be, as opposed to Utah Hockey Club. But I just, maybe I'm overstating this. It didn't seem to resonate with Russo. But I think the same guy owning the NBA and the NHL team is a massive win for both. Because think about it. It's not like, do the Wild compete with the Wolves? Yes. Especially when they have games on the same day.
Right.
So therefore, you can co-op marketing. You can do so many things if you have the two franchises working in lockstep. I think it's cool.
I don't know from a fan's perspective if that will be advantageous. Perhaps it probably will. I suppose there's more availability if you like to get to absolutely everything. But I think from a revenue standpoint, from ownership, it certainly be a good thing. They can be in lockstep. I think it'll be great marketing too. You can have both your teams work together. You have one leadership group that says, hey, NBA guys, you're going to do this marketing piece with Kaprizov, and that would be special, and that could really bring non-hockey fans to basketball and non-basketball fan, or vice versa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it could also really grow the marketplace and the fan base for each sport. So I do think it could be positive.
While the goalie continues to do covenant catch-ups with coaches and Reese Johnsons and everything, who's the coach you were talking with? I didn't say. I know it was a coach.
Oh, Frey Shabbat.
Oh, okay.
He was just
your former goalie coach here.
Yeah, he's making sure I was in good enough shape in case they needed a seventh goalie.
Right.
You could be the E-Bug.
Yeah.
What's the E-Bug?
Emergency backup goaltender.
Oh, I love that. How did you guys meet each other? I mean, how did you guys become such good friends?
Des Money. I think, we probably knew each other before that, but at the end of my playing career, I went down to Des Moines, and really, it was just a couple of weeks, and Al was down there, and he had me over for dinner a couple of times, and next thing you know, we had a couple of probably Budweiser heavies, a couple of nights at the bar, and now we're hanging out.
What is that, like 15, like 18, like how long ago?
Like 2018.
Like 20. No, I was going to say 15 years ago
before.
or what?
Yeah,
no, that would have been like 20.
That was earlier.
When was your last year, Ryan?
17, 18.
Oh, see, I thought it was 14, 15. I got it.
We were kind of in the same spot, though. I just Karts was coming back from injury. It was my first year I signed with the Wild, I believe, and after leaving San Jose, the unknowns of what was going to happen next. You spent some time in the NHL, and then you're coming to try to prove that you can still play. And I knew I was probably destined for Iowa at the time, and I think we were going to the same preseason games at the time, which means a lot of times the backup goalie or the third and fourth line guys travel on the road. The superstars stay and play at home, 1 or 2 home games, where us, I don't know, whatever word you want to use, these players, backup goalies, third goalies, whatever it be, take the road games. They go play Colorado and face off against McKinnon, Ranton, and Landeskog. You're fresh off a 2-hour flight and a 45-minute bus ride right into the game, and you got Ranton and McKinnon out there spinning their sticks with fresh legs, and those are the games. That's where you build a bond. You're on the playing day of game. I think
it's
that's
the bus, man. In the American League, it's the bus.
Yeah, knees jammed.
So the game was changing. You have to understand this, dude. The game was changing in that it went from you wanted to sneak post-game beers onto the back of the bus.
Yeah.
To it was let's all have a beach shake, right? So then it was two old school guys, two old school guys that weren't ready to adopt like the beach shake mentality yet, and we had been NHL players, but it was necessary to go back and see if we could play. Turns out Al could play. I couldn't play at that point, but we talked about that in the back of the bus over a couple of beers, and we solved some life problems in that moment. But it was fun. I look back at that time very fondly.
And dumb question: did you when you were the short time you were with Anaheim? How many games did you play? Do you remember? Or did you play games?
0 games.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to go there and be wrong.
Dress for a few.
All right, so
and
then
we got to touch back.
Well, that was
on
the
that.
bubble. So that was
this is Anaheim.
Oh, this Anaheim.
Yeah,
because call it the bubble again.
Right, but I mean, all the way back to Jean-Sébastien Giguère and the Mighty Ducks and the TO uniforms and everything, and you played there and won a cup. So it's right off. I know Anaheim's right off 57, Southern California, heading down Balboa, Huntington, Newport Beach. That's where the Angels play. The fan has learned stuff like that. Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland. How much do they embrace hockey? Well, let me rephrase it. Does the team have to be really good for them to pack it and really embrace it?
Yeah, it has to be good for them to pack it.
Yeah.
They do have hockey fans. Like, you'll drive down Catella Ave, and right across the street from Disneyland, there will be a Pure Hockey. So they have hockey. Great complexes now with a bunch of rinks. And I think it's a similar phenomenon to like L.A., where when Wayne Gretzky went there, that turned L.A. into a hockey market. People were like, oh my goodness. Then rinks started to pop up, and then people started to stay. And the same thing happened with Anaheim, I think. Anaheim wins the Cup in 2007. Everybody wants to stay there. Newport Beach is nice. You stay in Irvine. You golf all year. So players have now stayed, and now they all have children, so the rinks are being developed. There's good programs, there's coaching, and now you've got Southern California, which was a non-traditional hockey market, turning into one and kicking out really good players.
Well, when I lived there in the late 70s to the mid 80s, before I started traveling around the country calling races, Charlie Simmer, Dave Taylor, Rogie Vachon, Marcel Dion, the purple and gold uniforms, which were super cool with the big crown in the middle of it. So you say when Gretzky got there, hockey became a thing. I mean, they went to the silver and black uniforms. He's Wayne Gretzky, so I understand that. But it was pretty cool before that, with and this might be dating you guys, but those names, you recognize them?
I do, but if you don't recognize them, there's this other phenomenon where it's tough to be a West Coast team and have national relevancy, at least in the game of hockey, because the games don't start on the East Coast until 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. So you might have these unbelievable moments, but nobody sees them happen live on the East Coast, and then they're not talked about in the morning show. They're the last thing to talk about on Sports Center. A lot of it gets missed. And we just touched on this in LA. Anze Kopitar is unbelievable. And what he's doing right now is incredible.
Is he 40 or 38?
It seems like that.
Yeah.
He's been around forever. He came into the league when I came in, right? So he's got to be he's got to be 38, 37, 1,400 games played, 1,300 points, 2 Stanley Cups,
that's
Selke
amazing.
trophies. He's somewhat of a household name, but if he played for the New York Rangers, he would be hockey immortality. And in LA, he's not. He's just a really solid player. And I think that's the case with Drew Doughty. You could go Dustin Brown, a lot of the guys that were marquee players through my era coming out of LA. It's similar. And you could say the same for the Ducks, Anaheim's Ryan Getzlaf, it's Corey Perry. Those guys in their prime were the best.
Kopitar just turned 37.
37?
Yeah, I thought it was older.
37? That's still old, man, in today's game.
Yep.
We're prime. NHL prime used to be 27. It is now 24. So I always say, if you're playing 37, you're it's different. That's impressive because you should age out at 34 versus 37, if that makes sense. The game has gotten younger at every level, and if you can perform like Kopitar can at 37, lead that team, and he's still one of the only players I've ever seen that can slow the game down. When the puck is on his stick, the entire game slows down.
What's that mean?
It means everything is smooth. There's no panic in him. And he can get everybody's feet to sit still. Where everybody's forechecking, everybody's this. Kopitar is the one guy when I watch, it slows down. There's no panic. Everybody has to respect his abilities. It's different when he touches the puck. But like I said, if he's in Boston, if he's in New York, that's talked about way more often.
Alex Stalock, you were going to present something for young Zachary Halverson, I believe.
Yeah, Zach was talking about etching when Ryan etched his name, and this goes back to Anaheim as well. And we're talking about all these players, Getzlaf and Perry, Pronger, all the players that went through there.
Yeah.
And we go back to our friendship, how far our friendship is.
One of your favorites, Ryan Kessler.
Yeah, all the time, Superman.
But anyway.
But back to Carts, is our friendship came so far that when I unfortunately got to play with Anaheim last year during their 30th anniversary of Ducks hockey, the equipment manager called the third goalie at the time, me, and said, hey, we need a helmet painted for our 30th anniversary. I said, perfect, I got a great idea. I'm going to get some of the best players in Ducks history. The all-time greats painted on the side of my helmet. So I took 6 of the all-time greats. So I got Solani, Correa, Niedermeyer, Pronger, Getzlaf, and Ryan Carter painted on the side of my helmet. And the only one of them etched on the side of my head holding the Stanley Cup above their head was Carts. So I got everybody else with a stick. They're playing, but I have Carts with the cup on the side of my helmet.
Wow.
Of all 6.
Do you still have the helmet?
It's in my basement, yeah.
He gave me the mock-up. He's like, you think they're going to let me do this?
And so I sent it without them knowing. They had no idea. And no one, that came and was like, wow, that's a really cool helmet. I didn't spend enough time. But I did wear it for one game that I backed up. But no one came over and really took the time to say, that's really cool. I want to see
Well,
it.
you know why?
I was waiting for someone to. I don't know why, but I can't wait to hear this.
Well, it's because Ryan says because they play on the West Coast and games begin at 2 a.m. Eastern. Nobody knew who Paul Correa was or Pronger with a ponytail. They had no idea.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, the helmet's great. They did a great job, but it's just great that he's the only one hoisting the cup above his head.
No, it's such a fascinating thing to look at. Whenever they do those L.A. road trips with Anaheim to L.A., the fact that you just have 2 major teams just down the road from each other. Is it like, when you come to, obviously back-to-backs aren't great, they're not ideal, but when they're in the same city, is it like a back-to-back, or is it, a little bit easier?
Well, as a visitor going in for the common back-to-back L.A. versus Anaheim or Florida versus Tampa, You actually hate those back-to-backs because you want to spend a couple days in the sunshine, and they're like, "Oh, these are great spots. They're so close together. We'll get you guys in and out on a back-to-back."
Right.
Like the Wild just had.
Then you hit the freeway.
Yeah, it's like, oh, great. I saw the 405, the 57, Catella Ave, the inside of 2 rinks, and I missed all of the vitamin D I could have potentially had. So that feels like a back-to-back, very much so. Yes, but when you're playing there, no. The same thing occurs out east, where you can fly and every flight is an hour max, and you're in your own bed by midnight. Doesn't matter if you played in Philly and you're from Jersey, you're home every single night. At the end of the year, that matters. When you're out west, it gets a lot longer. You've got long trips. You're up until 3, 4 every night. So it gets a little bit more challenging, and then those West Coast back-to-backs do tend to feel a little longer than those East Coast ones.
What did Alex, you first? Road trips. All right. Did you guys have a favorite stop? So in other words, like you're young in your careers, and now it could be Vancouver. All right, and you say you've never been to Vancouver. You go somewhere and you're like, damn, I'm going to bring my family here on vacation. It's so nice because it was so new.
Yeah, right away when I was young and I got into the NHL, every city you got into was a new experience. Every city's great in a way. But I really loved Nashville, and it was a lot different in 2012 than it is now. It wasn't quite as big. And I remember packing, certain clothes. And I never really cared about what I wore, but I wanted to get the flannel and the belt buckle and the boots and stuff in my bag. And Nashville forever was one of my favorite spots to go. I love country music. The nightlife was fun. You stay right there downtown. You can walk anywhere. But early on, too, I wasn't a fan of New York City. It was just so busy and so much going on. You didn't really appreciate it. And as I got older, it kind of switched where I always thought going to New York was so cool. And sometimes you could spend 3 days there when 3 or 4 days when you're playing all 3 teams, and you could unpack your suitcase and actually stay in a hotel for longer than just a night.
Right.
So New York grew, and then obviously towards the end of my career, Vegas entered. And not only the off-ice aspect of everything that was available when you got into town, but the game night experience. I mean, every night felt like a playoff game there. Your fans traveled down there. It was unbelievable place to play on the road.
What about you, Rhino?
Well, I think you have to remember, too, this dates us a little bit, but Uber and Lyft and all that stuff wasn't as popular when we were playing. So the city that we went to, it depended on where you stayed. And the cities I liked were the walkable cities. So it would be a Vancouver,
Chicago.
It would be a Montreal, Chicago, New York a little bit. Because I got an element of ADD to me where I like to experience things, but I'll have an hour at this spot, then I'm cool. I want to walk to another one and do something different. Then I want to walk to another one. I don't want to sit in one spot and kind of do one thing for 4, 5, 6 hours. And I love the cities that provide that, and usually it's the ones that are set up to walk and where we stay and do things like that. So for me, it was probably a couple of those Canadian cities. New York was certainly that way, but then the older I've gotten, the warm cities are nice in the winter too now.
See, I've never been to Canada, and everybody I talk to who goes, like Toronto, is Toronto unbelievable? Like super stylish and swanky and cool.
I've never had I think it is. I've never had a good time in Toronto. I'm dead serious about
what do you mean?
Check your pulse.
I don't know. I don't know if it's just that because when we're on the East, we're in and out of there, and we're not there like for the night after a game. You also have to remember the NHL schedule. Like you don't really check out of town at all when you're there the day before the game. And then you've got your game, and then you always fly out after a game. So you have to have it aligned where your trip is set up that you have an extra day in Toronto. I didn't have many of those, but in Toronto, I think always scared me a little bit because you might get recognized anywhere you go in that town. It doesn't matter who you are.
Let's handicap for a little bit this evening's game, and I'm just going to lay it out simplistically. All right, Wild, clearly points-wise and overall one of the best teams in the NHL. We know what the Oilers did last year. We know McDavid, Draisaitl, they're all playing tonight. Rough night to not have Eriksson Ek and or Brodin, specifically Brodin against Connor McDavid. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I mean, I look at the Four Nations roster, and Brodin's on that one. If he's on it for multiple reasons, but if for no other, his ability to shut down Connor McDavid, nobody does a better job at it in the NHL than Brodin. So you're going to miss him. But I actually think this is a good thing and a good matchup for the Wild to play these guys without Eriksson Ek and Brodin. kind of see like if you can shut these guys down as a team. You rely on Broads to do it. He's super efficient. You look at the stats, it supports it. But can you, as a group, decor, get it done? And Leon Draisaitl, he's got, by my account, kind of a short fuse. He'll get frustrated. You can get him off his game much easier than you can a Connor McDavid. He's shown that in past games against the Wild because they're tight and they're defensively sound and they can be physical. Can you get Leon Draisaitl to throw a fit today?
Yeah.
That would be my goal if I was on that roster.
That's probably part of a game plan, right?
Yeah, let me get Leon Draisaitl to throw a fit.
Yeah.
Now let's see if you can do that, guys, without two of your better defensive players. And I like that one. The Wild, for me, going in before the Utah
Who am I missing
game,
here? Brodin and who?
Eck.
Oh, I see.
On every
not
level,
blue
those
liners, defensive players.
Yeah, on every
Got
level,
it.
those are their two best guys shut down. Eriksson Ek's got a leg over the wall in every situation. Start a game, start a period, first penalty kill, first power play. You're up a goal late in the third, you're down a goal late in the third. That's Eriksson Ek. He's out there every single time. And then it's Jonas Brodin. When you need somebody that you can trust on defense to play solid defense, it's Brodin. You're missing those guys. Collectively, can you do it?
By the way, what Alex Stalock just did to that corn dog with the hockey stick in it should be a felony in 48 states.
Let's hope that's not on Live Barn.
Did Felicia or your mom or your dad or somebody never talk you to teach you to not eat fast? I mean,
my youngest daughter just went through 4 corn dogs last night at dinner.
Oh, wow. I mean, I took one bite, and by the way, section 117 tonight.
Yeah,
these things are unbelievably good.
Dude, I heard you're supposed to eat fast. That's a good thing, right? You fill up faster.
Like fill up faster?
Like your brain gets the I'm full, whatever that is, signal faster.
Zach, what do you think of that?
So maybe
I haven't tried it.
Speed up.
What the hell's your problem? I'm just asking him about his corn dog. You ate that corn dog in 9 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you were waiting for him to end, then you're going to jump in with an opinion. But your cheeks were sticking out like you just had a full tin of Kodiak or some kind of chaw sticking out. I couldn't go to you.
It's 11:40. I'm hungry.
I
it's
understand.
Lunchtime.
So tonight, McDavid. So you've played against McDavid, obviously. What do you think?
It's funny that Karch mentions that. You know how effective Brodin is, and I didn't get to play a game with him, but during the goofy bubble season, being around the practice with him. It's amazing how much he looks into that stuff, and he knows going into this game that he's going to see every time 97 jumps over the bench, you know, he's going to see a Brodin if he's healthy, and that already is going to set him back. Not, you know, he's going to be frustrated already going in that he's going to have to play a guy that can skate with him, because how many guys in this league can skate with him?
Right.
You know, and whether Broads is fast enough, he's just so smart positionally. He knows how to angle him, skate him into a corner, put him into bad spots all night, and you know, when you get a guy like that frustrated before he even steps on the ice, it's a big difference. But I think beyond him, they have guys that have stepped up in the last couple weeks, too. Stuart Skinner stepped up his game to a whole nother level. He started the year slow again this year. He wasn't great in the pipes, and they were playing Picard probably more than they wanted to and more than they probably thought they would at the beginning of the year. But now he's figured it out, and I think, too, you look at a guy in defense, Darnell Nurse, who's actually started to play a lot better, too, for them. And I think they need a guy that they're paying that money to play big minutes, get offense for him, and you know, it's a lot of money to be paying a guy that's not going to show up on the score sheet.
You know what I think is understated in the Wild game right now, too, and I think this will play a factor in tonight's game, is their ability to not give up momentum-shifting plays or to get a save on a breakaway. And the save maybe doesn't get the recognition that it deserves, but collectively over the last couple of weeks, the Wild have never been on the negative side of momentum. And
in that Kings game a little bit early.
But the score wasn't like it got out of hand. Like they don't concede
2-0 is not out of hand.
Yeah,
right.
and then there's a breakaway, like they could extend it to 2-0, and it doesn't happen. So they never get pulled out of a game on momentum-shifting plays. Well, Connor McDavid is probably the best player in the NHL at producing momentum-shifting games. And can the Wild keep that script, that theme going? I don't know how long they can. It's been magnificent. It's one of those things that's really hard to quantify. Like why is it that they're not giving up these goals to go down 2, to go down 3? Well, I don't know. I can't quantify it.
Play style, probably, right?
But play style, it's commitment, it's moxie, it's a unflappable nature
believing
of the group
in the
right
plan and following the detail.
Stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah, stick-to-itiveness, you say. Right. Last one. All right, 3-2. Last one, Zach, you get it.
Well, tonight I've corn dog break. Just right into the bus. Here we go.
It's unbelievable.
I'm thinking about tonight, just how the ways that the Wild, who are slight underdogs, can win. And
are they underdogs? They're underdogs.
Yes,
they were underdogs in Utah.
Edmonton's minus 140. Well, that was closer to a pick. Edmonton's like minus 140 tonight. Now, Edmonton's won 6 of the last 7 since playing the Wild, and I know Eriksson Ek and Brodin and Zuki not playing. I know it plays into it. That's kind of a big favor for a road team against a team with all these points. Crazy.
Yeah, against one of the best teams in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
Right. At home. Yeah. I don't know.
Good seeing you, brother.
All right, yeah.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you. Alex, good seeing you, man. Thank you. Are you ever going to call a game again on the vast and ever-expanding San Jose Sharks radio network, Mr. Stalock?
January 4th, tune in.
Jan 4?
Jan 4, though.
Who do we got? It's a Saturday.
That's a great question.
All right.
Jan 10, I'll be calling a game in Utah, so I'll be there in a month after these.
Vikings play at the Lions, Jan 5. I was going to see if you wanted to come to the Motor City and go to the Wolves-Pistons game with me the night before.
Oh, no.
It'd be pretty sweet.
I'll be in San Jose.
That'd be great.
Hey, I just have one football thing I got to vent with right now.
That is the fantasy
Sam
football
Darnold
league?
decides to go off on fantasy football the week I play against him, and I needed a win to make the playoffs.
Sam knocked you out?
Sam knocked me out of the fantasy football playoffs.
That's what you get for being a Packer fan from Minnesota.
It's a bittersweet. Mm-hmm. Well, I am a former employee of the Green Bay Packers. That is why I feel like I am forced to.
That is true.
Oh, the minor league hockey team. That's right. They're
the junior team. We had
the
to have
USHL or whatever it is.
I was one of the ushers in the yellow poncho saying, take your seat here, and it was just a bleacher.
Wow.
Like, which seats, man?
Cleaning the seats when it snows.
Bleacher, man. Take a seat.
Lambeau Field's the bomb. It's my favorite stop every single. Now, the
great.
stop, Appleton and all that, I've done that 20-some-odd times. Yeah. The stadium, it's the bomb. I mean, it's now granted the average age of the fan is about 62, and they don't make a lot of noise, but Lambeau Field's the bomb, man.
I always tell everybody I've got a lot in common with Aaron Rodgers. Nothing more so than the fact that we both pulled some money out of Lambeau Field. I made $6.50 an hour, telling people where to sit, and he got people to sit down in their seats with his play. It's very similar.
And you both have one championship.
That's good.
The $6.50 he made was the decimal point was in a different spot.
Exactly.
I appreciate you, man. All right, Alex. See ya.
Thank you.
9 to noon continues after this.
I can't wait until tomorrow. 'Cause tomorrow might very well be too late.
Kara Savage, great work back there, guiding the great ship Love Covenant. Max Fuller, thanks for your help. Zach Halverson, thanks for your help here. For a Box in the Box from Trier Rink, Wild and Edmonton Oilers this evening. Joe O'Donnell and Tom Reed on the call. Will you be at the game tonight?
I will be there.
Yeah. So, what's your production role with them during the games?
I'm the Jared Wells of.
You're the engineer
with a lot less expertise.
What's Fallness do?
He is the studio. He's the muss.
Okay.
Of it.
Oh, I see.
Though I don't know who drinks more beer between the two of them, but.
All you elite Wild minds make it sound like it's going to be incredibly difficult to win tonight without Eriksson Ek and Brodin. I mean, shoot, we're big underdogs at home.
Yeah, I mean, it's been weird. I thought they're, with all these injuries, they would be doing much more poor. They're not. So I got a weird feeling of faith tonight here, PA.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Yep. See you, Zacho. Thank you, Kara. Thanks to everybody else for listening. And I'm Paul Allen. That's Box in the Box from the capital city on your home for the Minnesota Wild, FM 100.3 KFAN.
Wait till the end, and then.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.